Rome conquered kingdoms, but that wasn't enough. It also conquered the wild. At the height of the empire, exotic animals were dragged across deserts, forced onto ships, and transported for weeks, just to die in sand. Lions from North Africa, leopards from Anatolia, bears from the forests of Europe, elephants from the edge of the Sahara, even rhinoceroses and crocodiles. They were not collected for study. They were not displayed for wonder. They were executed for applause. This was called the venatio, the hunt. And it was not rare. It was systematic. In 55 BCE, Pompey the Great staged games in Rome that displayed over 600 lions and dozens of elephants in a single event. When the elephants were slaughtered, ancient sources claim the crowd reacted with discomfort. Even Rome had limits, briefly, but that hesitation did not last. By 80 CE, when Emperor Titus inaugurated the Colosseum, the scale had grown. For 100 consecutive days, games filled the arena. According to Cassius Dio, thousands of animals were killed during those celebrations alone. Not in battle, in entertainment. This required infrastructure. Hunters known as venatores operated deep inside Roman provinces. They used pits, nets, traps, and coordinated drives to capture animals alive. Entire expeditions were financed for this purpose. Roman trade networks moved beasts from Africa and Asia through ports across the Mediterranean into holding cells beneath the arena. Animals were starved to make them aggressive. They were released through hidden trapdoors into carefully staged environments. Forests were recreated in sand. Deserts were simulated inside stone. The arena was theater. But the message was real. Rome controls everything, even nature. This was not random cruelty. It was political symbolism. An emperor who staged larger games appeared stronger. More exotic animals meant wider imperial reach. When a tiger entered the arena, the crowd saw more than a predator. They saw proof that Rome's power extended beyond the known world. The spectacle was propaganda, and it worked. But there was a cost. North African lions, once common along the Mediterranean coastline, began disappearing from recorded history. Elephant populations in certain regions declined sharply. While Rome was not solely responsible for extinction, sustained mass capture and slaughter contributed to ecological collapse in multiple provinces. The empire did not just conquer territory, it altered ecosystems for applause. Inside the arena, something else changed. The extraordinary became ordinary. Mass death became routine. The Roman philosopher Seneca once wrote that what disturbed him most was not the violence itself, but the crowd enjoying it. The games desensitized society. By the 2nd century, killing animals was not shocking. It was expected. The empire that prided itself on discipline had normalized spectacle. And yet, even Rome could not sustain infinity. Transporting exotic animals across continents was expensive. As borders weakened and military crises intensified in the 3rd century, the scale of games declined. The empire began shrinking. The spectacles grew smaller. The arena quieted. When imperial power faded, so did its ability to command the wild. Rome believed dominance proved strength. But history remembers scale differently. It remembers excess. It remembers thousands of animals dragged across the known world to prove a point. And that point was simple. Nothing was beyond Roman control. Not kingdoms, not people, not even the wild. What historians still debate is not whether Rome was powerful. That is obvious. The debate is whether spectacle strengthened Rome or slowly reshaped it into a society that required ever greater displays of domination to feel secure. Because when control becomes performance, it must always escalate, and escalation rarely ends quietly.